Makbuhay, and welcome to another General Mathematics session. I am Teacher Melvin, and mathematics is not just about numbers, computations, equations, and algorithms. It's about understanding. So keep motivated and stay with me because we're together in this amazing journey. Are you excited? I am excited as you are. So, let's begin. By the end of this session, you are expected to illustrate simple and compound interests, distinguish between simple and compound interests, compute interest, maturity value, future value, and present value in simple and compound interest, and solve problems involving simple and compound interests. You know, it's quite difficult to pursue our dreams, especially in some trying times like what our country is experiencing on the COVID-19 pandemic. Dreaming is just a dream. The realization of it is the product of our perseverance, patience, and determination. For now, continue your studies, develop your skills, and cultivate your talent because those are your weapons in life. Simple interest. Interest that is computed on the principal. The interest remains constant throughout the term. Lender or creditor. Person or institution who invests the money or makes the funds available. Borrower or debtor. Person or institution who owes the money or avails of the funds from the lender. Origin or loan date. Date on which money is received by the borrower. Repayment date or maturity date. Date on which the money borrowed or loan is to be completely repaid. Time or term. Amount of time in years the money is borrowed or invested. Length of time between the origin and maturity dates. Principal. Amount of money borrowed or invested on the origin date. Rate. Annual rate usually in percent charged by the lender or rate of increase of the investment. Interest. Amount paid or earned for the use of money. Maturity value or future value. Amount after years that the lender receives from the borrower on the maturity date. To solve simple interest, the formula to be used is I sub s is equal to P times R times T, where I sub s is the simple interest, P is the principal or amount invested or borrowed, R is the simple interest rate, and T is the term of time in years. Example number 1. A working student at one of the biggest fast food restaurants in Lipa City wants to save for the upcoming school year. He wants to deposit his money to a Filipino-owned bank so that even in a simple way, he can help his fellow Filipino. Suppose his monthly salary is 10,000 pesos and it was deposited to an account that earns a simple interest of 2.75% per annum. Find the simple interest after 6 months, 1 year, and 18 months. Step 1. Identify the given and the unknown. P is equal to 10,000 pesos. R is equal to 2.75%, for 0.0275. T is equal to 0.5 for 6/12 for 6 months. 1 for 1 year, 1.5 or 18/12 for 18 months, and the unknown value is I sub s or the simple interest. Step 2. Substitute the given to the formula. I sub s is equal to P times R times T. For 6 months, I sub s is equal to 10,000 times 0.0275 times 0.5. Then the answer would be 137 pesos and 50 cents. For 1 year, I sub s is equal to 10,000 times 0.0275 times 1. Then the answer is 275 pesos. And now for 18 months, I sub s is equal to 10,000 pesos times 0.0275 times 1.5, and that is equal to 412 pesos and 50 cents. I want you to answer this second example. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, Marites, a female resident of Barangay May Pagkakaisa, somewhere in Quezon Province, thinks of a business that can provide for her needs as well as the need of her neighbors, so she can be of help even in this trying time. Having no money at hand, she decided to borrow from a bank as the startup capital of 50,000 pesos at 7% simple interest rate payable within 5 years. Compute for the interest yield. Correct answer, 17,500 pesos. This lesson will lead you to understand another type of earning interest, the compound interest. If you understand the simple interest in this module, Lesson 2 will give you knowledge of how simple interest differs with the compound interest. Formula to be used for future value in compound interest is F is equal to P times 1 plus R raised to T, where F is the future value, P is the principal amount, R is the compound interest rate, and T is equivalent to the time. While to determine the compound interest, just deduct the computed future value and the principal amount, which is I sub C is equal to F minus P. Example for compound interest. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, Marites, a female resident of Barangay May Pagkakaisa, somewhere in Quezon Province, thinks of a business that can provide for her needs as well as the need of her neighbors, so she can be of help even in this trying time. Having no money at hand, she decided to borrow from a bank as the startup capital of 50,000 pesos at 7% compounded annually and payable within 5 years. Compute for the interest yield. Applying the formula, F is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus R raised to P. We will obtain 50,000 times the quantity 1 plus 0.07 raised to 5. And our answer will be 70,127.59. And to determine the compound interest, we will just deduct the principal amount from the computed future value. Therefore, the interest yielded is 20,127 pesos and 59 cents.
For me to know if you really understand simple and compound interest, let us try to answer the given assessment. You'll just choose the letter of your answer. Business transactions are common events in our daily lives. Some of these transactions are banking activities like withdrawal, deposits, and loans. And some are done in supermarkets when customers used credit cards. And others are done in the pawn shops. When these transactions occur, there are two parties involved, the lender and the borrower. Hence, there involves a particular amount which we call interest. In the last module, we determined the difference between simple and compound interest. Simple interest pertains to the interest computed on the principal amount, while compound interest is being computed on the principal amount and also on the accumulated past interests. In computing the simple interest, the formula to be used is I sub s is equal to P times R times T. But did you know that it can be manipulated to obtain different relationships? If the unknown value is principal amount, then it would be P is equal to I sub s divided by R times T. If the unknown value is R, or the rate, then it would be R is equal to I sub s divided by P times T. If the unknown value is time, or T, then it would be T is equal to I sub s divided by P times R. And if the unknown value is the maturity or future value, then you may use either of the two formulas. F is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus R times T, or F is equal to I sub s plus P.
Example number 1. Given that P is equal to 18,500 pesos, R is equal to 0.03, T is equal to 5. Find simple interest. Using the formula of simple interest, which is I sub s is equal to P times R times T, we will obtain 18,500 times 0.03 times 5. And the answer would be 2,775 pesos. Example number 2. Given that P is equal to 20,000 pesos, I sub s is 4,000 pesos, T is 4, find the rate or R. Using the formula in finding the rate, which is R is equal to I sub s divided by P times T, we will obtain 4,000 divided by 20,000 times 4. And the answer is 0.05 or 5%. Example number 3. Given that P is equal to 40,000, I sub s is 700, R is 7%, find time or T. Using the formula in finding the time, which is T is equal to I sub s divided by P times R, we will obtain 700 divided by 40,000 times 0.07. And the answer is 0.25 or 1/4 year or 3 months. Example number 4. Given that P is equal to 15,000, T is equal to 4 months, R is equal to 2%, find maturity or future value. Using now the formula for maturity value, which is F is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus R times T, we will obtain 15,000 times the quantity 1 plus 0.02 times 1/3. And our answer will be 15,100 pesos.
The previous lesson reiterates the importance of simple interest in a certain transaction. Interest is a natural event in a business transaction. However, not all interest is considered as simple interest. Some are classified as compound interest. To gain a deeper understanding of what compound interest is, the following formulas may be taken into consideration.
Example number 1. Given that P is equal to 18,500 pesos, R is 3% and compounded annually for 3 years, find the maturity value and the compound interest. Using the formula of maturity value in compound interest, which is F is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus R raised to T, we will obtain 18,500 times the quantity 1 plus 0.03 raised to 3. And the answer is 20,215 pesos and 45 cents. And to determine the compound interest, we will use the formula I sub c is equal to f minus p. Substituting the values 20,215.45 minus 18,500, the result is 1,715 pesos and 45 cents.
In the previous example, the interest is compounded annually. However, there are cases that the interest is compounded more than once a year. So in this case, additional terms must be clarified.
Frequency of conversion, or M. Number of conversion period in 1 year. Conversion or interest period. Time between successive conversions of interest. Total number of conversion periods, or N. N is equal to M times T, or that is frequency of conversion times time in years. Nominal rate, or I raised to M. Annual rate of interest. Rate of interest for each conversion period, or J. J is equal to I raised to M divided by M, or annual rate of interest divided by frequency of conversion. Since the rate for each conversion period is represented by J, then in T years, interest is compounded MT times. If the given interest is being compounded more than once a year, then the formula to be used for maturity value is F is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus J raised to N. And for the present value, the formula will be P is equal to F divided by the quantity 1 plus J raised to N. Example number 2. Given that P is equal to 50,000 pesos, I is 0.03, M is 4, T is 4, find F and I sub C. Before we apply the formula for maturity value, which is F is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus J raised to N, we have to solve first the value of N and J. N is equal to M times T, which is 4 times 4, then the answer is 16. J is equal to I raised to 4 divided by M, which is 0.03 divided by 4, then the answer is 0 and 75 10,000ths. Substituting now the values, we will obtain 50,000 times the quantity 1 plus 0 and 75 10,000ths raised to 16. We will get 56,349.61. Applying now the formula of compound interest, which is I sub C is equal to F minus P, we will obtain 56,349.61 minus 50,000, and the answer is 6,349.61. Therefore, the maturity value is 56,349 pesos and 61 cents, and the compound interest is 6,349 pesos and 61 cents. FEDRA has a loan with an interest rate of 1.5% The amount of interest is 2,250 pesos for a period of 3 years. How much is her loan? The known values are I sub S is 2,250 pesos, R is 1.5% or 0.015, T is 3 years. Then, the required value is the principal or present value. Using the formula, we will arrive at P is equal to 2,250 pesos divided by 0.015 times 3. Thus, the amount of her loan is 50,000 pesos. Aling Nena borrowed money from a bank at the rate of 1.89% compounded semi-annually. If the amount she borrowed is 13,000 pesos, how much interest will she need to pay at the end of 6 years? The known values are P is equal to 13,000 pesos, I raised to 2 is 0 and 189 10,000s, M is 2, T is 6, then the required variable is the compound interest. Before we determine the compound interest, we have to solve for the maturity value first, and that is F is equal to 13,000 times the quantity 1 plus 0 and 945 hundred-thousandths raised to 12. And the maturity value will be 14,553.29. Applying now the formula for compound interest, which is I sub C is equal to F minus P, we will obtain 14,553.29 minus 13,000. Thus, the compound interest is 1,553 pesos and 29 cents.
I think you're ready enough to do tasks on your own. Let us try to answer the given assessment. I hope you learned from our session today. And remember, if you are a borrower, make sure that the interest of your loan is not too high. If you will find a lender that offers simple interest, better grab it than a lender who offers compound interest. On the other hand, if you are an investor, learn to invest your money to an interest that will yield a higher returns like compound interest. If you will be a lender in the future, I hope that you will not be abusive regarding the interest. Be reasonable and act generously by helping others who needed you the most. This is Teacher Melvin. Bye!